Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to Decode Waters, where it's just not about the bite, it's about how we get there. And today we're on Caney Lake. Clear water, very pressured, and limited windows. I'm breaking down everything going through my head as I try to dial in a mat punching pattern, from how shade lines change with the sun to how long it takes between bites. I'm showing you exactly how I build a pattern, one cast at a time. Let's get into it. Okay, if y'all been to Caney, y'all know how much pressure this lake gets and know how clear the water is here. I'm usually no more than 10 foot away from the mat that I'm flipping, but being this water is so clear and the pressure it gets, you can see I'm about double that distance. I'm trying to figure out if there is a punching bite, and also if there is a punching bite, what cadence do they want? All this is going through my head right now, and here's my first clue. Okay, got my first bite, got my first clue. I was kind of in the middle of a mat right there, not really on the edge like I started fishing. Well, I'm going to continue doing both. I'm going to fish the edges of the mats, and I'm also going to fish the middle of the mat when I get in that situation. So, now that I got bit on the cadence that I was doing, I'm going to continue doing that cadence while mixing other cadences to see if it was a pattern or a fluke. Remember, we're trying to build a pattern here. The cadence that I got bit on, I flipped it in the mat, it hit the bottom, I jumped it off the bottom about an inch, then I picked it up all the way till it hit the bottom of the top of the mat, then I let it go all the way back down to the bottom, then I picked it back up again. Before I could hit the top of that mat is when I got bit. It's very important to pay attention to stuff like this. This is how you build a pattern. A lot of times when you're punching, you throw it in there and right when it hits the bottom you get bit. Other times not so. Pay attention when you get bit, what cadence did you use? That way you can repeat this and build a pattern. Also, try to remember how long it takes you to get bit between bites. Sometimes it's going to be fast paced, sometimes it's going to be a slow pace getting bit. It's very important to kind of notice how much time it's taking between bites. For example, on this trip it was taking me about an hour between bites to get bit. In my mind, I was thinking if it takes me longer than an hour to get bit, then something's probably changed. I need to start doing something different. But if I get bit every hour, then that's motivation, at least mentally, for me to keep doing what I'm doing, be patient, knowing I'm going to get a bite within an hour. Fishing is a big mental game. So if you can keep your mind positive, that'll help you to have confidence to keep doing what you're doing. And more times than not, this will help you to have more success in your fishing. And here's my second clue. Got him, baby. That bite was on the edge of a mat and the same cadence that I caught my first fish on. So now we got two bites, the same cadence, but one fish is on the edge of a mat and one fish was in the middle of a mat. So now I'm pretty sure I got my cadence down, but I'm still going to experiment till I get another bite. I like to say one fish is just a fluke, but 2 or 3 fish is a pattern. So if I catch another one, that'll make my third fish. So I'm gonna really start concentrating on the edge of the mat or the middle of the mat, wherever I catch it at. But if it's on the same cadence, I'm pretty much gonna start sticking with that cadence until something changes. Remember, keep track of how long it takes you between your bites. Again, this one was about an hour before I had my last bite. Keep that mental game strong, especially on them days you gotta grind to get bites, just like this trip. Okay, it's been about an hour right here, and here's my third fish. Watch the cadence. It's the same cadence I caught my other two fish on.
There he is, baby. Oh.
That's our third fish. That one was on the edge of a mat. So now I'm pretty sure I got a pattern, and I'm gonna start focusing on the edge of the mat and only use that cadence. I haven't mentioned this yet, but all the fish I've caught has come on high percentage areas. When you're flipping mats, there's gonna be differences in the edges of the mat. Like if you look real good, there's some points. That's gonna be high percentage points. So every cast that I make, I'm already looking 3 or 4 casts ahead of me when I'm gonna cast next to them high percentage spots. It's a little bit later in the morning now, and in my mind, I'm starting to worry about the sun. As that sun comes up, that's gonna change the shade line on the edge of that grass. The shade line is gonna push back further up in the grass on the mat. That's why if you notice right here, I'm casting a little bit further than I was this morning, because I'm thinking about that shade line to see if anything's changing. Remember, keep an open mind. Stuff is going to change throughout the day, and you need to change with it. So keep open mind, keep experimenting. And if nothing's changed, then keep doing what you're doing. But remember, always keep it honest. And here's our fourth fish. That fish was a little bit further back in the grass. So now in my mind, I'm thinking maybe I was right about the shade line. So now I'm going to start going back and forth. The edge of the grass and a little bit further deeper in the mat where I think that shade line's at. And see what happens at this point. If nothing changed, I'll keep doing the same thing. But if it has changed, I'll change with it. It's been 45 minutes. And I make a cast back into the mat where I think the shade line is right here. That fish was a little bit further back up in the mat where that shade line was. So again, I'm thinking, did it change? Did it not change? So now I'm really going to pay attention to my next fish to see if it's back further in the mat on that shade line or they're still on the edge too. I may have to do both. Depends on what the fish tell me. All these things run through my mind when I'm fishing. Here's our next fish, and it's on the edge of the mat.
We lost him.
Well, we lost that fish. But even though we lost him, that's another clue to keep telling me I need to do the edges of the mat and further back in the mat where the shade line is, because now I'm getting bits on both places. Again, remember, this lake is clear. It's very pressured. Look at the distance away from the mat that I'm staying. I'm trying to keep my distance, so I'm stealthy, quiet. I don't want them fish knowing that I'm there. On a pressured, clear lake, I like to stay as far away as I can, as long as I'm still being efficient. At this point, the sun's high up, and I'm really putting some distance between me and that mat. It's been a little bit over an hour now, and I'm thinking, what's changed? And then I get this bite.
A big baby. Oh. Oh. Oh.
That's a wrap on Decode Waters on Caney. Punching mats on clear water pressured Caney Lake isn't easy, but today is all about reading the subtle signs and trusting the process. If you got anything out of this breakdown, make sure to drop a comment, hit that subscribe button, and let me know if you want more of this Decode Waters type videos. And I'll see y'all next time.